I'd love for you to share just your family life as it is now.
Well, now I have 9 children, but 5 of them are not children; they're adults. And so I have my 4 girls here, and we live in the heart of the city of Detroit. They all go to one school. I'm a single mom. I work. I also have a outreach of my own called Angel is Here, because Angel is my nickname, where I advocate and help moms and give them tangible resources for themselves and for their children, for them to become strengthened. My children volunteer with me as well in my outreach, and that's my life here.
I have to ask, the nickname, you said Angel was your nickname. Where did that come from?
My mom had me on a Sunday on her way to church. And prior to that, she had been really abused by my father. And she said, on this day, he didn't want me to go to church, but I said, I'm going to church. She said she didn't care what he said on that day. She was going, and she went into labor. And the cab driver actually had to take her to the hospital, and she had me, and she said, it felt like you saved my life. It felt like you were my angel. And ever since then, as far back as I can remember, even being 49, people that know me still call me Angel. So,
talk about life with the four girls right now in Detroit.
My daughters, they're all honor students. My one daughter, she's going to be turning 18 in April, so I'm getting ready for prom. I'm getting ready for graduation, senior night. She's a cheerleader. My other 3, all honor students, even through COVID. They're amazing young ladies. I've tried to instill in them, like self-love, and you don't doubt yourself and believe in your capabilities. And that's kind of how we vibe in here. They try to uplift me as much as I try to uplift them. They're all I have. I'm all they have. And it's just us. And we try to do some fun things, but like they're my lifeblood. They're all I have. And so why I do this is because for them to see, no matter what you've been through, like you don't have to give up. You can keep going, you can keep fighting, and God will bless you for doing so. And so you don't give up no matter what has happened to you.
Would you mind sharing a story or two of when you thought about giving up? I have 13 years clean and sober. I was in an abusive relationship prior to that. He did jail time for setting my house on fire. I just felt like I'm not worth anything to anybody. For one, being abused as a child, starting with somebody very close to me, which was a male. You then say, well, I don't ever want to be with somebody like that. But you subconsciously get with folks who are just like that, like the same person, again and again, looking for love, right? But not knowing that they're damaged as well. And I just felt worthless. I just felt hopeless. I just felt like I was probably a mistake being born. That was my thought process then. And like I said, he'll show you who you are in him, and he'll open your eyes and allow you to see. I start seeing different things like, oh, well, maybe I could do that, or maybe my life could be different. Angel, you got to take some steps. Like, stop saying what you can't do. Like, get up off your butt and take some steps. But I really felt like giving up, literally, like not wanting to be here. And so I'm so thankful. That was just one time. I felt like that many a times, even as a young girl.
even needing help for having those feelings from professionals. And so I think about that now, like, how could I ever not want to be here? I wouldn't have my children. I wouldn't be doing what I love now if I had ended it all. You know, I wouldn't have lived my destiny. And I would have robbed them of theirs. And so I'm thankful that I made it through those times. Hundreds of times I felt like that. So yeah.
I know when we talked, you mentioned that you want to be able to be the woman that you wished you had when you were younger.
Yes, absolutely.
To be that for someone else. Can you share more about that?
My mom, she didn't have that going through her situation. You know, her mother was old school. You stick it out, you stay. She didn't really get a lot of support. So she didn't know how to support me, right? And so I didn't have that until I decided to move away from everybody and everything. And that's when people, you know, I sought out professional help, you know, from a domestic violence shelter. You know, went to the groups with the other women who have those same kind of experiences. And so how they uplifted me and my children seen me growing and coming out, and they started growing and coming out. We were making friends, making good connections in our new space. And so sometimes God wants you to separate so you can see clearly what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And for those people who were there for me and helped instill in me that I was worth something and that I could fulfill all my dreams for myself and my children, I just want to be that. Even if for one mom, you know, to feel like, you know what, you got this, you can do this, you are worth it, and I'm going to help you through it. You're not by yourself. That's my life. That's all I want to do is for somebody to remember me and say, you know what, she helped me through that. And I'm going to do it for somebody else. So
that's amazing that you do that. How often do you find someone in the community that needs that kind of support that you're able to provide, or wisdom, or just lived experience?
Women call me right now. Even if I'm not at work, I still connect with those same women, even through my own outreach. I was looking at my sign-in sheets, and I have over 300 women in COVID. I've done 4 events in COVID, 300 parents. Each one of them have between 1 and 3 children. They still call me, and I still invite them. I do an event quarterly for free, and give them resources and free food and just some love and some fellowship. And they still call me, when are you doing something else? Or could you help me with a housing resource? Or Angel, I'm just ready to leave. Whatever it may be, I'm answering. I'm going to help. I'm hoping I can develop a nonprofit here because I don't have a 501c3. Thank God I have good relationships with different organizations, and I say, I'm trying to do this for these moms. They donate. And I don't know, it's just so fulfilling, but it also helps them, but really secretly, like, it's part of my healing, right? It helps me to heal, to remember where I came from, but not stay stuck in that, but to know that I can be a service and I can help them as well. That's part of my own healing.
I love that. I love that. You have to tell me what kind of reaction do you get when you're going around in the community, trying to get these resources so that you can be of support to other women in the community? What is the reaction?
Sometimes people say, well, you don't have a nonprofit, I can't donate to you, so I don't worry about those people. I am telling you, every organization that I deal with, I call and they say, what are you trying to do? I need 50 things of laundry soap for these moms, you know, to take a load off. I'm doing an event at the laundromat. I need dish detergent and I need bleach and They dropping stuff off at my house, putting money in my cash app, however they can donate to me. And those are the people who believe in what I do. They know my passion and my spirit for it. And they trust that when I say that I'm going to do it, it gets done no matter what. And so, yeah, that's the only thing. Sometimes if you don't have a 501c3, people be like, but I'm just like, it's a tax write-off. If you donate to me, you get me right back. They don't care about that. But it always ends up that I never am unable to reach my goal. I do 50 moms at a time. That's just my number. I don't know why. And so I always reach my goal. Every mom ends up with the same thing. I never get anything different. Same thing. I do free raffles. I purchase the food, everything. I get a good reaction from people who believe in me and say, you need to start your nonprofit. Why don't you have that? Because I don't know enough to do the paperwork and, all of the technical things. I haven't had time to sit down and learn it from somebody, right? And I just do it the way that I'm doing it, but I do want to do it in a bigger manner. I also train, I also facilitate. I also am certified in advocacy and so many other things I could train parents in. I've done facilitators training, so I want to now branch off into not just giving things away. I want to attach a learning to my giving. You come to a class, I'll do a parent leadership training, or I'll do love and logic training for you. You'll be certified because then you can go into the community and do that training for yourself because I'm a certified trainer. I want to attach a learning, something they can put on their resume. In my next phase, if I could develop this, I need help. But yeah, I definitely have a concrete plan for it.
A concrete plan and a huge heart. A huge heart. Tell me, how did you go about learning that this was a plan that you could put together, or that you could attempt to put together? From the certifications, just getting that kind of knowledge.
Well, because I dropped out, I was pregnant, and I dropped out of high school in the beginning of the 10th grade. Right, wasted a lot of years of my life. The work I used to do, a nursing assistant, you didn't need all of these degrees and all of these kinds of things back then. Flash forward, 5 years ago, volunteering in my kids' schools. I was always on a PTA or, small things like that. And for my baby pet start, the director said, we'll pay you. We want you to be our community navigator, right? For all of the centers. Community resource navigator, be on our policy council. And so from there, I was just like, wait a minute. And then we had to have an election and all the parents voted for me. Wait a minute. Okay, it's 2017. Maybe I can do this, right? Because I've been through everything. So I know the resources. When you want to get out of an abusive relationship, I know who you need to call. I know how you can get new housing. I know how you can get funding. I know how you can really get on your feet, right? And because I've lived it, I've been through it. So who better to help than somebody that made it through those things? If you want to become clean and sober, I know the tools for you to be able to help get yourself out of that situation as well. If you were abused as a child, I know how, where you can call or get your insurance to pay for you, the therapy and everything. So it's really nothing that I haven't been through. And so I've made it through those barriers, right? And so who better to help somebody else through those barriers?
You are the expert in knowing what it takes.
Yep.
I know I invited you on to be a fireside chat guest so that we could hear your story, but I'm just curious, after hearing about the people whose lives you're impacting, is there, you don't have to say their name, but is there one woman who has impacted you just from your ability to to support them or their story and where they are now has impacted you?
Yes. And I tell her all the time, you remind me of myself. Sometimes it's hard, right? When you really had to look in the mirror and you really had to do some reflection and like own your own mess. I don't want to say a bad word, but you really have to take ownership of your BS, right? You have to be honest, you have to say it out loud, and then you have to make amends. This young lady reminds me so much of my old self though, but I see my new self in her as well. Like the things that she's trying to do, and she's pushing and she's pushing, she's trying, and she, she'll slip back a little bit. And I tell her, you know what? Slipping back is a part of the process, right? If you never have any slips, how would you know how to recover from them? And I'm so proud of her. And I'm smiling thinking about her right now. But she deserves everything good in the world. And no matter what, she gets up and she still be trying. And I don't care, she'd be ashamed to tell me about her slip, that you've done it under the eyes of your father and he still loves you. Who am I to judge you? Slipping is a part of the process, honey, and you embrace it and you say, you know what, I got this. I'm gonna get back up. And so I'm just smiling in my heart, thinking about, I'll call her when I get off this call and check on her. But her, I'm gonna bring her right along with me. If I'm doing a training, if I'm doing a class, I'm like, come on. And I'm always asking the organization, can you add another parent? I think they get tired. But you put somebody else on here. With me, if I give you an opportunity, you're gonna be paid to learn. So you're gonna learn and earn and be able to put that on your resume so you'll be able to earn more. But she is like so in my heart. Yeah.
I think the first time I met you, you were, it was in one of the builders meetings, and you stood out because you were already asking questions and really involved. But then you made a comment saying, yes, the money is good to know about, but you were attending the meetings for the information and the knowledge share. Can you talk about why that was so important to you?
Because I feel like even if you earn money, I want what's behind it, right? To further develop myself. When you don't have a formal education, these are the ways, certifications, trainings, these are I don't want to say the back end ways for me to get educated, but I sit at the table with folks who have their letters behind their names and everything. And I place myself in those spaces so I can soak up all the knowledge to be able to then use that knowledge in my community. So the money was good, but at the same time, it helped build and help develop, me, develop my learning, my knowledge and my skill set. That's priceless, right? And so those are the ways that I educate myself, being in spaces like that.
Can you share how you became connected with UpTogether or FII at the time?
Oh, wow. Word of mouth. Another friend of mine, a wonderful mother and an activist in this community, she said, I want you to join this group. I had never heard of it before. It's like the best kept secret, even now. And she said, it's called FII. And I'm like, Family Independence Initiative. I'm thinking she's talking about VHS. She's like, no, FII, call the lady, look at the video. And ever since then, I was intrigued because like I said, in Detroit, it's like the best kept secret. Really, if you're not a part of it, it's like, you don't know about it. It's like, and I want that to change. But yeah, and so from then, I developed my own group, went further and became a fellow, was able to talk to funders and everything. And ever since then, I've been immersed because of how FII really put a spark inside of me. I was already on that path, but completing the goals, helping my mom friends complete their goals, us doing it as a unit, going in the same direction,
uplifting my community at the same time. It was like tenfold what it did for me. Like it kind of pulled all of those things that I had in my head, like it started coming to fruition, right? And so yeah, the funding was good, but to be able to develop and learn and grow and it really set me off. Like I took off. I feel like.
Can you tell me more about that group that you started?
Okay, so my group was called My Sister's Army, but my sisters, it was a play on words. My sisters, capital R, me. You are me. I am you. My sisters are me. And so it was just a play on words for My Sister's Army, because we're army for one. We're powerful, we're strong, we're diligent, we're vigilant. But you are me, and I'm you. And so it was 6 members, and that was such a wonderful experience to have that group. And I made sure that I did things with intention, not without them. We made collective decisions. And I'm hoping that I've helped them grow as well. I've seen growth in them, and I see them right now. I just feel like, wow,
Oh, that's great. I love that. I love the name. I absolutely love the name. Can you talk? Say that again.
Everybody didn't like, what is My Sisters Are Me? And we would have to explain to them, like, look, I am her. I am that lady right there. I'm her, but we're army, we're a unit. So
can you talk about your time as a fellow?
That was amazing. Being able to be at the table to talk to funders, to say our experiences, to say how I felt, to say what FII meant to me, to say how, Jennifer was like a mentor, coping, learning from them, hearing them speak, hearing their passion only fueled me, right? Like, I really want to do this for my community, and this is what the community needs. And this was the best model, and still is. Just amazing. It gave me other opportunities when people would come and say, hey, you're a fellow, we came to your meeting. I would invite them just so they could see the model, so they can see and develop relationships and partnerships. I thought that would happen, because I thought it was important to bridge FII with other organizations that help families, right? A lot of that didn't happen, but I'm hoping we have another opportunity for it.
Now, I know there are going to be several members on this call that will have questions and follow-up questions on what you just touched on there. I would love, before we open it up to them, for you to just talk about your experience in the builders meeting with the builders group that is not just your Detroit community.
I love that. I've sat on a couple of national groups for parents, but my UpTogether, we all live in different states. Some of us live in the same state, but to hear their experiences, to hear how they're growing over the time that we've been together, the things that they're doing, the things that they're a part of, it's like they're right here with me. And it just, the opportunity that UpTogether, where we get an opportunity to really use our voice and help and not create the work, but we get to have a say in how it's done and what this thing looks like. We get to develop it right along with, all of you all. And nobody does that. They'll take a few statements or whatever, and really, once the work happens, like, we didn't say that. None of our stuff is even in there. That is so not the case with UpTogether. And you guys are really intentional and mindful of, what, this is what you guys have said. We're gonna, we're listening. And even when they don't get it right, they say, what, we're gonna go back. And we heard you guys loud and clear that this is what you wanted. And, just that process of us working together with them and being allowed to do so in our
authentic selves. When we don't like something, we are comfortable enough to say, this is not working, that's not right. This is hard, or that's not, like, can we do it in a better way? And then the opportunity to be able to learn and grow and develop. That's my whole thing, right? I have a plan out here. I'm gonna have me a brick and mortar. It's gonna be a hub. I have plans. And so to be able to facilitate these new mom meetings, to be able to be on a fireside chat, talking about myself, talking about what I'm passionate about, like that's a huge opportunity to be able to, hold space like that. And so I'm super, super thankful to be even chosen as a builder. I filled it out so fast because anything connected with you all is what I want to do.
Oh, wow. You said you had a goal when you became connected with UpTogether initially. Did getting connected with UpTogether and getting the funds, did that accelerate your goals at any along the way, or did that?
Yes.
What did that allow you to do?
It allowed me to start my LLC, right? So pay the state of Michigan to be able to start it. And although I didn't know that I wanted a nonprofit, I'm just like, I want a business to be able to help these moms. I don't make a profit from what I do. So I did that wrong. But, like the fund didn't help me to be able to start doing some little things in the community. Like my first event was at the grocery store. I didn't have to find the parents. I just took some of the money from some of the money that I had got, put that together, bought backpacks, bought school supplies, then begged folks for the rest of the stuff. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go to the grocery store. Nobody's doing a back to school event in my neighborhood. I'm going right up here to Grand Price. And all the parents are where the mama's at the grocery store all day long. And so I had over 125 kids get backpacks. The parents got resources and everything, but me using that money that I was getting in, I kept half from my family and the other half I put into the donations to be able to, that's a lot of families. That is a lot. That's like 75 families over here in this little area. 125 kids were able to get everything they needed on that day because of these funds. And I've done that a few different times, helping people or buying Christmas gifts for the lady down the street. She needed help. She had 8 kids. I have 9. I know what that's like. Again, with those funds, I would always keep, the bigger part for my children, but I always would share. And my kids would pick out the gifts and stuff for the kids down the street. And so being able to have that capital helped me to be able to do what I had decided that I was going to do for the community.
Wow, I'm at a loss for words. Anyone else on the call? Can you help me out? Can you ask a question or two? I'm still stuck at the grocery store.
What better place? Order moms from that. Where the moms? That's Absolutely. Where they are. You don't have to find them. So for my sister's army, I gave my idea about, hey, y'all, we already do outreach, right? We already do that for other organizations. How about we do it for ourselves? Every month, like I would go this month, the next person would go this month of her choosing what our outreach would be. So collectively, we would agree and say, okay, we'll go to the library and we'll give books, or we'll go over here and support that organization by showing up and helping them serve food and everything. So those kind of decisions we collectively were able to do to support other people in the community that was doing this work. Or we would put our funds together and we gave to the homeless shelter, we gave toiletries and everything. So just collective decisions on which direction we were going to go in, what our outreaches would be, what our meetings would look like. Like nobody would determine the meeting. Like if it's my month, I'll say, well, I'm going to have an author come in, a Black female author, and she's going to come in and talk about how to get your story, like how to tell your story and everything. And then this person next month, she'll say, well, I want such and such, I think this will be able to help us. And then that person will come, or we'll do that activity, whether it was a visioning board activity, whatever we would do. but we were all intentional on giving each one of us a chance to say what it is that we wanted for the group. And we had very many different ideas. I think one time I had my friend come and surprise them. She worked for Mary Kay and she gave them all massages, and we did mirror work, and we were crying and boo-booing and self-reflection. And, she gave them beautiful kits for self-care. And so we would just be intentional on what our decisions was, what we wanted our group to look like, not physically, but when we go into the community as My Sister's Army, guess what? We're collective, and we wanted to do things that highlighted those things. Really, I feel like it starts with what we're doing right here, right now, listening to each other, first of all, having some honest dialogue. Second of all, having some truthful dialogue, developing meaningful relationships based on truth and honesty. And a lot of these things that are happening, like I said, they may ask us a question or two, but really we're not a part of the work plan. We're not a part of the benefits from it. They're not hiring us. They'll give us a little stipend to, sit right here and, be the fluff for the meeting because the grant said they needed input. No, we want to be a part of the work. We want to help develop the work. I make action plans all the time for when I start my nonprofit. I do all of that. And so we would like to be a part of that, be a part of the process, not just answering questions about what we feel and what we think. No, let us help to be able to develop the work and implement it and benefit from it. And so just starting just with these things, like some real dialogue, some just on a human level, just to know each of us have value is how I feel.
Definitely appreciate your time here on the Fireside Chat. You set the Fireside Chat on fire. So thank you. Thank you so much.
We all did. I fed off of you guys' energy. You made it easy for me to be comfortable saying some hard stuff,
And thank you for that vulnerability. Thank you for that transparency. And I know you're impacting us, and you will impact everyone who sees this and hears your story. And we can't wait to continue highlighting your story and giving you a platform to share it. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Well, see you later, everybody. You have a good rest of your day. This was so super exciting for me. I'm on fire. If you started something now, see?